Good morning, everyone. 12th class BST, chapter 6, staffing we were doing, and already we have done meaning and importance of the staffing. Please tell me screen is visible or not. Yes, please tell me screen is visible or not. Both the screens, PDF as well as whiteboard, both the screens are visible. Okay, so let's start. Staffing means putting the right person at the right job at the right time, at right time. So this we have already done. Meaning of staffing I have explained in detail in the previous class. Then importance of staffing we did. I told you that the employees or the workforce of any organization is the greatest asset of that organization. And without satisfying that asset, without keeping updated that asset, no organization can succeed. Okay, so that's why staffing function is very important for any of the organization. First importance is competent personnel. To get competent personnel, staffing is important. Then higher performance will be higher if the persons are put at the right job. Then survival, if every person is put at the right job, then it will be good for the survival and growth of the business, because the business will be getting the higher profits just because of the training and development of the managers. Then optimum utilization of human resources, no human resources will be wasted. Job satisfaction, staffing function which is performed accurately, that will lead to the job satisfaction to the employees, and they will be able to give their 100%. Then features I have already told you. Important managerial function, pervasive, continuous, all these features I told you. Placement, then this topic is deleted from CBSE syllabus only for this year. Evolution of human resource management, so cut this topic from your book. This topic is non-evaluative topic. This time this will be not coming in exam. Human resource department or human resource management. Cut this topic completely. So today we'll start with the topic steps in staffing process. As I told you earlier that all the functions of management have their own process. Like in planning, we have also done process of planning. Then organizing, we have done a process. Similarly, staffing is a function which has also a process. So today we will be doing process of staffing. Process means sequence of steps to perform the given particular task. So staffing cannot be done only in one step. There is a complete process of staffing. First step in this process is I'm making a flow chart. Remember one thing, whenever you people need to write the process of any function, then you people need to draw this flow chart. With the help of flow chart only, you are going to explain the staffing or the planning or the organizing process. So the second staffing process, the first step in this process is manpower planning or estimating manpower requirements. Both are correct. Estimating manpower requirement. So this step is very important, new as well as the for old organizations. As the step itself is explanatory, it tells us that in this step, the each and every organization has to estimate. Estimate means has to forecast the number of the people which are required by the organization. Okay, it means understanding how many persons are needed and of what type. What type means actually this step will be telling us how many and what type, means how many people are required and what type of people are required. Type means what will be their qualifications, skills, their experience, etc. To fill the positions in the organizations while creating the organizational structure. Actually, how many people we have required, it will be decided by the organizational structure. Structure we have already learned in chapter 5. And on the basis of that structure, the job positions will be filled by the staffing function. So for performing this step, we need to do two type of analysis. We need to do two type of analysis. Which two analysis? Workforce analysis and workload analysis. These are very two important concepts, and this can come in one marker question. Workload analysis and workforce analysis. These are one marker question also. Whenever you are going to explain this step, then these are the sub parts of this step: workforce analysis and workload analysis. Workload analysis tells us that number and type of human power. Number and type means how many number of employees are required and what type of employees are required. Like in a school, if workload analysis is done, then it will to be find out that how many teachers are required. Suppose 5 teachers are required, so this is the number of the teachers which is required. Then what type here means of what subject. Primary teachers we need, senior teachers we need, or postgraduate teachers we need for 11th and 12th classes. Then we have to think about the subjects, which subject teachers we need. English, Hindi, SST, science. So under this analysis, this is performed in every organization, whether it is small, big, or it is new or the old organization. So workload analysis is the analysis in which number and the type of the employees required is decided. Workforce analysis, this type of analysis is done only for the old organizations, not for the new organizations, old or existing organizations. Remember this thing, this is very important. Only by the existing organizations this is required. Why? Because in this analysis, the organization finds out whether the organization is overstaffed or understaffed. Overstaffed means the number of people, suppose in an organization required is 100 and there are 110 people working in the organization. It means 10 is in surplus. So that surplus means the organization is overstaffed by 10 people. Understaffing means is the vice versa of this situation. 100 are required and actually 90 are working. So that organization is understaffed by 10 employees. Both situations are not good for any of the organization. Why? If the organization is understaffed, it means work is more and the people who has to perform the task are very less. So in that case, the more work will be divided among lesser number of people. So it may lead to the overburden. The existing workforce will be overburdened by the work and they will be not satisfied. So they will be finding out some better options because they are not getting the salary that much as compared to the work. So they remain always overburdened. So they will not be able to give their 100%. And in this situation, when the organization is overstaffed, it means work is less and the employees are more. In this case, the cost of production will increase because the organization is paying salary to more people, which are actually not required. So in this situation, what may happen? More play, this situation can happen. More play, less work. It means all the employees are underburdened. The organization can take more work from them, but just because the number of employees are many, so each and every employee has given lesser burden. So that's why there will be more play. More play means more gossiping and less work because they are not having much work to do. So it may lead to the less work. So please tell me, am I clear with these 2 points? Over workload and workforce analysis. One marker question and very important. Workforce analysis means analyzing the existing number of the employees, that what is the existing number of the employees in the organization, whether the organization is understaffed or the overstaffed. So this is the situation and both the situations are not good for any of the organization. And workload analysis means analyzing the number and the type of the employees. What type of employees are required. And one thing you have to remember for both of these analysis, that workload analysis is required by both, whether it is the organization, new organization, or the organization is the small organization. But the workforce analysis is required only for the existing organization, because in this we are estimating, we are analyzing the existing workforce of the organization. Second step is recruitment. Second step, after performing the step, yes, after performing estimating manpower requirement, we are now going to recruit the employees. Recruitment. Recruitment means, yes, recruitment best definition is this, which I am going to give you. Recruitment means searching for the prospective employees. You can write or underline in book this definition. Searching for prospective employees. Emphasize on each word, searching for prospective employees and motivating them to apply for jobs in organization. Motivating them to apply for jobs in organization. So this is the complete definition of recruitment. So recruitment does not mean appointing the employees. Recruitment means only the searching for the prospective employees. Searching means to find out, not to obtain. Searching means only to find out the prospective employees. Prospective employees means the employees who are not present. In present are employees, but in future they can be our employees. Prospective, future employees, and motivating them to apply for jobs in the organization. You can see that the many of the companies have opened their websites, or many job websites are there. Sometimes we are giving advertisements in the newspapers, and while giving advertisement in the newspapers, we are making the advertisements very attractive, like high salary, all perks, government scale perks, midday meal facility. So uh, all these are the benefits which the company is offering to the employees, so that they are attracted towards the company. So like we want to and recruitment means searching for the employees does not mean we will be search everywhere. We will be targeting the market where we can get the employees. Like if we are searching for a teacher, then many sources of recruitment can be there. So there are two sources of recruitment. In this point you are going to explain these sources in short, not in detail. This is a complete topic in the later part of the chapter, that the what are the sources of recruitment. But here, as a part of staffing process, you are going to explain it in a short. External sources and internal sources. External sources, like you are taking employees from outside. There are different sources from getting employees from outside, through employment exchanges, through labor contractors, uh, through the casual callers, campus recruitment. You must have heard about the campus recruitment. Many big companies are going to the university campuses and they are getting the employees, required employees, through advertisements, through websites, through telecast. Different external sources are there. We will be discussing all sources in the later part of the chapter. Internal sources means we are getting the employees from within the organization. Okay, we are getting the employees from within the organization. We are not getting the employees from outside the organization. We are getting the employees from within the organization. Yes, internet is also, yes, very good, Gurnu. Internet is also good example. Within the organization means you are not going outside to get the employees. Internal sources like promotions, transfers. In one branch there is overstaffing, so what you can do, and in another branch there is understaffing, so what you can do, instead of firing the overstaffed employees, you can transfer them from one branch to another branch. So that will be the internal source. So here in recruitment, you have to just give the meaning of recruitment and you have to just talk in short about the external sources and internal sources. That's it. And one more thing, recruitment is known as positive process. It is known as positive process. Why? Because in this step, the organization will try to get as many applications as it can. Why? Because number of applications will be deciding the choice of the organization. If applications what the organization has got are many number, then the organization can make the wiser selection. If we need 5 people and we are having only 5 applications, then there will be no choice with us. So that's why it is said that it is a positive process. In this, the every organization tries to create a pool of employees. Pool. applications are there, and this is a pool of employees and different applications are there, and every organization will try to fill this pool with the application so that later on it can make a wiser choice. If no applications are there, then there will be no choice with the organization. Okay, so this is all about the second step. Now come to the third step after recruitment. The third step is, सोच कर देखिए आप लोग क्या हो सकता है रिक्रूटमेंट के बाद थर्ड स्टेप क्या होना चाहिए. आपके पास एप्लीकेशंस आ गए हैं, अब आप क्या करेंगे. थर्ड स्टेप, what the third step you will be doing when once you have got the application, please tell me. Yes, applications आ गए हैं. Yes, very good Gurnur. We will be doing selection. Very good. Selection करेंगे हम. So third step is selection. So what do you mean by selection? Try to tell. Selection, wherever you are going to give interview or any other thing, then there is a selection. Because why there is a need of selection? Because the applicants are many and the number of jobs are very less, so the employees are selected. So what do you mean by selection? Please tell me. Selection, yes, select the best person. Very good, Thira. Selection means choosing the best candidate among the different available candidates. So selection is the process of choosing from among the pool of prospective candidates who have applied for a job. Yes, जो भी आपने pool बनाया था previous step में, उस pool में से अब आप अपने best candidates को select करेंगे. तो select कैसे करेंगे? On the basis of written test, demo, and as well as on the basis of interviews. There are different methods, different modes of selection. Like in written test can be conducted, demos can be conducted. Like in a school, if we need to select a teacher, then in first stage the interview applications will be demanded. Then applications, phone calls will be made to the candidates who are eligible for the post. Then when the candidates will be coming, then there may be a written test, there may be a demo class, 1 or 2 day, and finally there may be an interview. And on the basis of all these things, the candidates will be finally selected. Sometimes there are different levels interview, 2-level interview, 3-level interview, and in some small organizations where there is no so much of formalities are required, only one interview can be there. So we can say that the selection procedure, all these steps are having a complete their own procedure. And in the later part of the chapter, we will be doing all the procedures, right? Recruitment is also having a procedure. Selection is also having a procedure. But here we are studying these steps as a part of the staffing process. That's why I'm not telling you in detail. But when we will be doing these topics separately, then I will be telling you in detail. Okay. So selection means choosing the best candidate out of the pool of the candidates. So it is a negative step. Remember that recruitment is a positive step and selection is a negative step. Like in first level, 10 candidates were there. And they have, out of 10 candidates, only 8 candidates had cleared the first level. So 2 will be eliminated and 8 will be going to the next level. Then there are only 5 candidates cleared the next level. Then the next level, 4 candidates will be sent. So it means at every level of the selection process, every step of the selection process, some candidates will be eliminated or disqualified who were not capable to clear that particular level. So that's why it is the negative process. And at last, in the final stage, only those candidates will be entered who have crossed all the hurdles, who have cleared all the levels, and who are the winner. Winner means who have got the job. So this is all about the selection, and different methods are there, and selection is never having any standardized procedure. Remember this thing, because companies and the organizations have created their own selection procedure as per their requirement. It is not a standardized procedure. You have to remember two things: negative step and different levels are there, and each level some of the candidates are eliminated, and who have cleared the one particular step, they will be going for the next step. Okay, so this is all about selection. Like these different candidates are there and you are going to select the best one. So this red one apple is the best one. So choosing and appointing the right person. Next step is the placement and orientation. This is also very important step, because actually at this step we will be deciding where to place the employee. Okay. Yes, Gurnoot. Very good. So choosing the best candidate out of all the available candidates. Fourth step is placement and orientation. Placement means Yes, placement means putting the right people at right job. Placement means putting the right people at right job. Putting right people at right job. Once you have selected the employees, then you have to place them on the job positions for which you have selected them. So placement means uh, employees are occupying the positions or post for which the person has been selected, or putting the people at the place for which they have been selected is known as placement. And orientation means introduction, introducing them. Okay, so whenever a new person enters in the organization, he is not knowing all the things about the organization. So he must may be aware about the rules, regulation of the organization. There must be an introduction of that new person with the others, like who is his boss, who is his superior, who are his subordinates, to whom he has to give the orders, from whom he has to take the orders, from whom he has to give the report, to whom he has to take the report, and what are the rules, regulations, what is the reporting time, where is the canteen, where are the fresh rooms, where is the staff room. Everything is introduced to a new person, and this is known as orientation. Like when you people will be getting admissions in the different colleges, then all the colleges are conducting their orientation program. Orientation means familiarizing the employee with the new employees with the old ones, making familiar the new employee, so that why this orientation is conducted, so that the employee is able to adjust himself or herself in the new environment, and without wasting much of the time he can start doing work. So that's why this orientation is done. So placement means putting the right person at the right job, and orientation means familiarizing, this one, familiarizing the employees while they are performing the given task. Then next step is training. So the next step in staffing process is training and development. Training and development. So this is also a complete different topic. Later on we will do this topic in detail. So training means sometimes when we have joined the job, we must be able in performing one skill, but not accurately. So it is not necessary that the each employee is skilled. So some arrangements of training are done so that the employees can learn the things, how to perform the things rightly, how to perform the things correctly. So that's why training is given. So training is given to the employees for increasing their skills. Okay, it is a process by which attitudes, one marker question, training is a process by which attitudes, skills, and abilities of the employees are increased. Abilities of employees are increased. Okay, sometimes these abilities are possessed by the employees, but some polishing is required so that they can perform it in a better way. So performing all the skills in a better way, training is required. So when we are using these two terms, then these two terms have some different meaning. Whenever we are giving uh, this training to the employees, workers, then it is known as training. Whenever the skill improvement is done for the managers or for the higher level or the middle level employees, then it is known as development. Okay, development word is used for the managers and training word is used for the employees. Training is given for a particular skill, only for one skill, and development means overall development of the employees so that they are ready for handling the higher positions in future. Okay, so both are given. If the employee is manager, then the development will be done, and if the employee is worker or the he has to perform at the lower level, then the training will be done. So this is all about training, and further we will be doing this both the topics in detail in the next part of the chapter. Next step is the, in most of the books this is given as the complete staffing process, but there are three more steps in the staffing process which you have to add. That is, next is the performance appraisal. Performance appraisal. Performance appraisal means, like, here we have invited the application, here we have analyzed the requirement, here we have invited the application, here we have selected the best person, here we have put them on the job, and here we have provided them training so that they can perform their job in a better way. So the next step is performance appraisal. Performance appraisal means at then when they will start doing working, then they will be given some standards, they will be given some targets. So at the end of the time period, suppose the time period was allotted to them 1 year, and they were told that they have to prove themselves in 1 year. So after the 1 year, it will be assessed whether they have achieved their target or not. So assessment of the performance of the employees to ensure they are in the standard level or not. So this is known as performance appraisal. And on the basis of this performance appraisal, their increments are done, their promotions are done, increments and promotions. If in performance appraisal they have got the good grades, then in the next year their promotions may be there, or there along with the promotions they may get the increments. So next step is the, after doing the performance appraisal, like these type of grades will be given: outstanding, excellent, very good, average, below average, and on the basis of these grades only, their promotions as well as their increments will be done. Okay. So the next is the, after doing the performance appraisal, next step, which I have already tell you, that is the promotion and career planning. Promotion and career planning. This is the next step in continuation. In this step, it becomes necessary for our organizations to address career related issues and promotional opportunities for their employees. Okay. So it is very much required that the promotional opportunity should be given to the employees. Why this is required? Because if there are no promotional opportunities, then no one will be able to do his wholeheartedly work. Because if there are the chances of promotion, then everyone will be ready to work hard. If there are no promotion, then they will be doing work like a routine task. So that's why promotion policy is created by each and every organization. And the career planning means giving them promotion, and career planning means giving them better chances. Like suppose there is a job vacant of the upper level of the senior production manager job is vacant. So first of all, before giving this job position to any outsider, it will be checked out from the organization whether the subordinate of the senior superintendent is not able to handle his job or not. So that will be seen from his performance appraisal report. That what is his performance appraisal report, PAR? What is his performance appraisal report? If report is good, then he may be promoted at the position of his boss. Okay, so that's why promotion and career planning is required. Managers must encourage employees to grow and realize their full potential. Promotions are an integral part of people's career. No promotion, no motivation. Okay, so that's why for motivating the employees, promotion, strong promotion policy is required everywhere in the organization. Last step, which is the compensation. So promotion and compensation is also the part of staffing process. Compensation means salary, perks, wages. So compensation refers to all forms of pay or rewards. All forms of pay or rewards. Two forms of pay or rewards are given. First is the direct and second is the indirect. Direct payment मीन्स जो डायरेक्टली आप देते हैं एम्प्लॉइज को. इनडायरेक्ट पेमेंट मीन्स जो सैलरी का पार्ट नहीं होते हैं बट दे आर गिवन. एंड इन डायरेक्ट ऑल्सो देयर आर टू टाइप ऑफ वेज प्लान, टाइम बेस्ड and performance based. Time based and performance based. Time based means total 8-hour job is there and you are getting salary or wages for 8 hours. What performance you are doing in that 8 hours does not matter. 9 to 5 job is there and you are getting your salary or wages on the basis of time, then it is known as time based. Performance based means like sales executives are there, sometimes their salary is fixed on the performance based. Performance based means whatever number of units they will be selling, they will be getting commission on that, or they will be getting salary based on that. So similarly, like a worker's wages you have to fix. So worker performance based wages can be like in differential piece wage rate system we have done in chapter 2. So suppose a worker is making 10 per piece 5 rupees he will be getting, or in a day if he is producing 100 pieces, it means for a day his wages will be 500 rupees. This is known as performance based wages. It means your wages or your salary directly dependent on the performance done by you in a single day. And time wages means you have to work just for 8 hours or 10 hours, and your salary is based on the time basis, not on the performance basis. This both of these are the direct payment. Direct means wages, salaries, bonus, commission, incentive. These are the direct means which are directly the part of salary. Indirect means Indirect means which are not given directly to the employees, they are given indirectly. Medical insurance, most of the companies are having medical insurance of their staff. In that case, that payment is not given directly to the employees. The insurance amount given to the insurance company directly on behalf of the employees. Other things we can see like PPF, sorry, not PPF, PF, Provident Fund. Companies are contributing to the Provident Fund. Companies are contributing to the LIC scheme of the company. So these are the known as indirect payments. So all these are the steps. All these are the steps of the staffing process. Now please tell me, all the steps are clear. So these are the steps. Now we will be revising all the steps in short. So first step was manpower planning. I'm telling you all the steps again. Manpower planning means two analyses are done, workforce analysis and workload analysis. Please tell me workforce क्या है और workload क्या है. Please tell me in chat. वर्कफोर्स एनालिसिस क्या था और वर्कलोड एनालिसिस क्या है? टेल मी, प्लीज टेल मी, what do you mean by workforce and what do you mean by workload? I am waiting for your answer. Yes, very good. Very good. Yes, workforce means, yes, workforce means you are analyzing the number and type of employees required. Number and type. Yes, very good. Number and type. Which type of employees are required and what is the type. And workload means existing employees को आप analyze कर रहे हैं. Whether the organization is understaffed or overstaffed. Second is recruitment. In recruitment, you are searching for the prospective employees and motivating them to apply for the jobs in the organization. Okay. So next is the selection. Selection means choosing the best candidate out of the pool of the candidate. Best candidate you are trying. Recruitment is a positive process and selection is a negative process. Then placement. Placement means putting the person at the right place. Placement and orientation. Familiarizing the employees with the new ones. Training and development. Training means increasing the skills and the abilities of the employees. And development means same too, and training is for the overall development of the employees. Performance appraisal means getting the performance report of the employees, how they have performed in the given time period, what are their grades. Promotion means putting the employees at the higher level position, and this promotion is based on their performance appraisal report. Then compensation. Compensation means salaries, giving salaries, deciding and giving them salaries, wages, bonuses, etc. It is of two types, compensation, direct and indirect. Direct means the payments which are given directly to the employees in the form of salary, wages, commission, bonus. And indirect means which are not given directly to the employees, which are given to the outsider agencies like medical insurance, PF facility, and sometime the organizations have their tie up with the Club Mahindra and other leave planner, vacation planner companies. So they are giving vacation facility, which is already paid by the company to the employees. Many big companies, MNCs, have their tie-up, but this type of facilities are given at the higher level employees, not to the lower level employees. Then the topic is completed. So these are the all 8 steps in the staffing process. So whenever the topic will come in the exam, you have to explain all the 8 steps with the help of this flow chart. Okay. So now tell me if there is any problem or the topic is clear. Please tell me. Yes, please tell me, students. There is any problem or the topic is clear? Yes, beta, please tell me. Yes, clear? Okay. So I am ending the class here. और अभी 5 मिनट के बाद अकाउंट की क्लास शुरू हो जाएगी. Okay? So just a minute.